Welcome, brothers and sisters, my fellow ninjas around the world. My name is Mateo Flows, and I am beyond honored to be your guide today in sharing with you what I have found to be some of the most impactful and life-changing keys when it comes to maintaining the health and longevity of your physical body. Now, who I am is far less important than you recognizing the legacy of master teachers through which this wisdom comes from. I originally was certified in this modality known as functional range conditioning directly from the creator, Dr. Andrino Sapina. And legend says that he adapted this system as a more scientifically based model of Ido Portal's corset protocol, which was designed to create a body which was capable and strong in all possibilities. So what I share with you today comes from masters well beyond me, and I hope you take everything to heart because it may just change your life. So with no further ado, let's dive in. The first most important key is understanding that joints make up your capacity for all other movement. When we're a baby, the first thing we do is we learn to flex and extend our joints. In any movement, any sport, any martial art, weightlifting, it's all based on the capacity of what your joints can do. For example, if you want to throw a head kick, you have to have the capacity in your hip to be able to get to that range of motion. Otherwise, you will compensate and you will draw from other parts of your body in order to try to achieve that end goal. So, building up the health and longevity of your joints is one of the most important ways you can invest your energy. What do people always complain about when they get old? My joints hurt. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you today that that is not the way that it has to be. So, how do we keep our joints healthy? What's really important to know is your ability to generate tension directly affects the tendons and ligaments that connect into your joint insertion. So what I mean by this is you've seen that bodybuilder in the gym who has big muscles, but their elbows and shoulders are still in pain. It's because they are not recruiting the internal engagement necessary to get the fibers of their muscular tissue that connect to where the actual joint goes in the mix with their training. This is why martial artists, bodyweight practitioners tend to have healthier joints long term because they know how to generate internal tension. This is also essential for making sure that you're actually strengthening as you expand the capacity of your joints. It's one thing to be mobile, but guess what, guys? You can actually be too hypermobile. If you have an amazing range of motion but no strength in it, that's when you go to catch that football and your arm comes out of its socket. Right? So we not only want to expand our range, we want to expand our strength within that range. To do this, we're going to begin by just going through every joint in our body from the toes on up and exploring and learning how the joints move, how you can isolate them, how you can learn to control their individuation, and how to apply tension to begin to expand and strengthen their capacity. So to begin, let's just go ahead and meet together down on the floor. I want to keep it really simple, guys, so we'll start on the ground. And first things first, the first joint at the very bottom of your body is your toes. So to begin, I want you to try this. Try pressing your big toe down into the floor and lifting your 4 little toes up to the sky. See if you can do that. Big toe presses down into the ground, 4 little toes lift up to the sky. Keep trying that. Big toe down, 4 little toes lift up, and then we'll switch it, okay? So the 4 little toes press down and the big toe lifts. Keep trying. 4 little toes down, big toe lift, 4 little toes down, big toe lift, actively press. Relax for a second. So for some of you, that may have been really difficult. In our society, it's very common to wear shoes. We disconnect from the finite balancing muscles within our feet that control this little toe individuation. However, for none of you, I'm guessing this is anatomically impossible. What's lacking here is your neurological connection and ability to control that finite joint articulation. So as we practice isolating and controlling joints individually, we're not only strengthening our body's physical capacity, but we're expanding our mind-body connection for control. So let's try that a few more times. And if it's not easy to start, that's fine. But with enough practice, you should be able to move each of your toes individually. There's nothing stopping you except just that mind-body connection, right? Let's give it a try. Again, feet flat on the ground, big toe presses down, 4 little toes lift, big toe presses down, 4 little toes lift, and then we'll switch it. 4 little toes press down, big toe lift. Remember to engage as much of that tension as you can. So really press those toes, really lift that big one. 2 more times, switch it. Big toe down, 4 little toes lift, And 4 little toes down, big toe lifts up. One more time, guys. Big toe down, 4 little toes lift. And 4 little toes down, big toe lift up. Go ahead and relax. If you're feeling any sort of cramping, that's totally normal. It's just neurological confusion. Your muscles aren't used to being moved in this sort of way. But practicing this is important. Our toes play such a crucial role in how we balance and how we're able to articulate our athleticism. So learning how to control your toes, very worthwhile. The next joint as we move up our body, can you guess, is our ankles. So when it comes to understanding how joints work, one way we can begin to map this is through directionality. So what is one direction that our joints move in, or our ankle joints specifically? Our ankle joints lift up, try lifting your toes to your face, and our ankle joints flex forward. Press your toes forward. Very good. So we have one direction, this flexion and extension. Now, I want you to begin to add in some tension, so that we're not just passively moving through it, because tell you what, that won't get you any results. But creating as much engagement as you possibly can will change what that joint is able to do. So this is how we do that. To begin, we're gonna pull our heels through the floor, try to pull them back towards us, get some engagement through the ground. From there, you're gonna lift your toes up to your face as much as you can. So not a passive lift, but actively lift those toes. And let's try going through that flexion extension. Press your toes forward as much as you can, drive those toes, and then pull your heels to the ground as you lift those toes back up to your face. We're gonna do that 3 more times, guys. Pull those heels, and then press those toes forward, lift those toes up, pull those heels 2 more times. Toes drive forward, press, feel the full tops of your legs come to life, and toes lift up, pull the heels, feel the full backside of your calves come alive. 1 more time, press those toes forward, drive, and lift those toes up, pull those heels. Beautiful stuff, guys. What we've just done is we've defined one direction that our ankle joint can move in. Next up, we're gonna get another directionality. When you take 2 directionalities, you add them together, you create a 360 circle, which is the actual range of motion and capacity of that joint. So what is the other direction that our ankle can move in? Our ankles also internally rotate, externally rotate, right? We can lift the big toe to our face, we can lift the pinky toe to our face. Let's try that together. Creating some good tension, pulling heels to the ground, lifting those toes up, scoop your big toe up to your face, and then switch it. Scoop your pinky toe up to your face. Let's try that 2 more times. Big toe lifts as you scoop to your face. Pinky toe lifts as you scoop that toe out. 1 more time, fight for it, guys. Big toe lifts as you scoop it up to your face. Pinky toe lifts as you scoop it all the way out. All right, so we got 2 directions. We're gonna add them together, explore the full range of motion that your ankle is capable of. Let's try it right away, all right? Toes lift up, create that tension. We're gonna take our toes, we're gonna scoop them out, and then we're gonna press and drive our toes forward as much as we can. From there, scoop your toes in, and then lift them up to your face. Let's do that 2 more times. Toes scoot out, toes press forward, toes scoop in, toes lift up. 1 more time. Toes scoop out, toes press forward, toes scoop in, toes lift all the way back up to your face. We're gonna change directions. Press your toes forward, scoop your toes out, lift your toes up, and scoop your foot in. 2 more times. Press toes forward, all the way out. Fight for it here, guys. Lift toe up and scoop all the way in. 1 more good one, okay? Press toes forward, scoop toes out, lift toes up, all the way in, and relax. If you're doing this properly, it should be hard. This should be a max effort, just moving your ankle through its range of motion. But take a second and notice what you've just done. Your ankle should be feeling really warmed up, and that was only like 30 seconds of work. Imagine if you did this for 5 or 6 minutes, you would begin to build some very strong ankles. But today, we're focused more on the principles. In the future, we'll go deeper into the practice. All right, so we took 2 directions, we added them together, and we explored the full range of motion of that joint. As you were going through it, you might have noticed that there were some like stuck areas, some areas where it's like, ooh, yeah, right there it kind of feels inhibited, right? There might be some cobwebs or some rust. Well, guess what? This is why this modality is so empowering. By simply focusing on finding the weak points along that range and beginning to press tension into them so that you expand not just your capacity, but also those strength, you can solve a lot of the issues that are going on through your whole body. And the body is normally a very complex situation. So looking at it through this lens allows you to simplify in a way that can be very empowering. I've been in the comment section. I've seen you guys posting about all your issues you have with your knees and your back. Well, guess what? Applying these principles is how you can fix all of that. All you need to do is find where you're weak, gain more strength, and over time, the problem will fix. Okay, next up, let's talk about the knees. How do the knees move? Well, just like the ankle, we have that flexion and extension, right? We also, if you bring your hands to your knees and you just take your toe, you turn your toe out, you turn your toe in, we have a slight internal and external rotation of our knee capsule that is defined by the turn of that toe. On this one, guys, I want us to try one side at a time so we can really feel the difference in impact of this exercise. So to begin, let's go ahead and just grab our right knee. And you'll go ahead and just get a grip behind your leg, lift that heel off the floor, and we'll start by pulling our heel all the way to our hips. As we do that, let's engage some tension. So lift your toe up to your face, get that activation. From there, turn your toe out as much as you can. I need you to get as much active turn of your toe through the full movement as possible. So turn in that toe. As you turn that toe, kick your leg straight. Turn and kick, turn and kick, turn and kick, all the way out. At the end of your range, turn your toe in. As much turn in as you can as you pull that heel back all the way to your hip and squeeze. 2 more times. Toe turns out, actively drive that toe out. Kick that leg straight, kick that leg straight, kick that leg straight. Toe turns in, drive that toe, pull heel back to your hip. 1 more time. Toe turns out, turn that toe and kick, 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 kick. Toe turns in, try to match my pace. Turn it in as you pull back, change directions. Toe in, kick that leg straight. Toe in, kick that leg straight, fight for it. Toe turns out, turn that toe out, pull, squeeze, heel to your hips. 2 more times. Toe turns in, kick, 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 kick. Toe turns out, pull, 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 pull back. All right, take a second and relax. Again, if you're doing this correctly, that should be like a max effort in just like 30 seconds. Now, here's the cool part. Check this out. Take a moment and just kind of play with your legs and really feel the difference, right? After just a few seconds, you should really notice a distinction from one side to the other. This is an incredibly powerful practice in terms of the bang for your buck that you get. What you're feeling here is you've actually taken that joint capsule and you have flushed it with synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is what brings the nutrients needed to our joint cavity to keep it healthy. So the reason why when you don't move, your joints hurt is because the actual movement of your joint is necessary to lubricate that synovial fluid through its full workspace, right? So again, feel that. This is what a knee that's flushed with synovial fluid feels like, and this is what it feels like when you haven't yet given it that gift. Again, that was just 30 seconds. If you start to apply the same principle for longer time and more tension, you can really build some strength in those knees. Let's just balance it out here. So, grabbing that left knee, pull it on up, pull heel back to your hip, lift the toe to your face, turn the toe on out, get that nice turn activation and kick. Turn the toe, kick, all the way extend, turn the toe in. Turn that toe in as much as you can, pull the heel back to your hip and squeeze it. 2 more times. Toe turns out, active turn, kick, fight for it, kick, fight for it, kick, fight for it. Toe turns in and pull, squeeze back as much as you can. 1 more good one, guys. Toe turns out and kick out and kick out and kick. Toe turns in and pull, 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 change directions. Toe turns in as much as you can, kick that leg straight. Toe turns out as much as you can, pull, squeeze back. 2 more like that. Toe turns in as much as you can, kick that leg straight. Toe turns out as much as you can, pull, squeeze on back. 1 more time. Toe turns in as much as you can, kick that leg straight, fight for it. Toe turns out as much as you can, pull, squeeze on back. Relax. Again, feel what you've just given that left knee, that gift of flushing it with synovial fluid, creating tension to bring those ligaments and tendons online. I have seen some of the strongest people in the world struggle just doing a few reps of these controlled joint articulations. The reason for this is if you're not feeling like it's hard enough, you need to be generating more tension. So you actually create the challenge, and the challenge that you create determines the results. Big difference between just going through the motions and making the motions count for you. Okay, we got our toes, we got our ankles, we got our knees. Next up, we got our hips. Before we move on, I just want to emphasize this particular motion that I've showed you, that's not the point. The point is understanding how the joint works and then applying these principles of tension as you move it through its range of motion, particularly targeting the weak points to strengthen and expand them. How do the hips work? The hips are a ball and socket joint, and there's lots of different ways that we can begin to explore. To begin, I want you to just bring your hands behind your back and bring your feet to the floor, and we're gonna move through what is called a 90-90 position. So to begin, go ahead and drop your knees over to one side. And you're gonna try to find a 90-degree angle with both of your legs. So maybe if this knee's up a little bit, you need to scoot it back, whatever it takes to find that proper positioning. Now, from here, we need to create tension, exactly. So begin to press down through the ground. This is gonna be one of the main ways that you find that we are constantly engaging tension. We're either engaging tension through expansion through our body or through pressing and creating pressure down into the floor. So press your front knee down into the ground, press your front heel down into the ground, press your back knee down into the ground, press your back heel down to the ground. Try as much as you can to stay tall here. If you notice yourself leaning a little bit, that's your spine compensating for a lack of what your hips can do. From here, friends, we're gonna take the knee in front, we're gonna press it down, we're gonna take the knee to the side, we're gonna lift it up. And I want you to see how high can you press that knee that direction while still keeping this knee down on the floor. For 4, drive apart. For 3, this knee down, that knee that way. For 2, for 1, pull your heels through the ground. As you pull your heels through the ground, you're gonna slowly transition back through center. Keep driving your knees apart. Keep pulling those heels through the floor. Keep lifting your toes. Slowly maintaining that tension. Switch over to the other side, and as soon as you land, begin to press down into the ground. Knee down, ankle down, knee down, ankle down, press. Feel that engagement come to life. Take a breath here, maintain that press. After this, we got the knee and lead down into the ground, knee behind, we lift it up to the sky. Press apart. Lift for 4, this knee down, that knee up. For 3, drive. If you're feeling cramps, it's totally normal. Fight through it. 2, 1, and pull your heels as we slowly come back through center, and then switch over to the other side. Keep pulling those heels, keep fighting, keep pulling those heels, keep fighting, and then press down to the ground again. That, my friends, is 1 rep. Now we could do more, but before we do, I want you to feel the difference between what we just did and then just casually moving your hips side to side. Don't get me wrong, this feels good. It's nice, it's a little movement, but that is never going to expand the capacity of your hips. The key is to find those points that stick, learn how to generate tension, press into them, and that generation of tension is what will expand the ligament and tendon where it's missing. All right, let's try one more of these for the hips, and then I'm gonna give you some other examples of how the hips can move. Coming back to your starting position. Again, step 1, engage tension. So begin pressing the knee down to the floor. Front knee down, front ankle down, back knee down, back ankle down. And then from here, lift that back knee up to the sky. Press apart for 4. Knee drives, 3. See how far you can go for 2. Feel what's happening in the hip socket. 1, and then pull those heels to the ground. Keep fighting those knees apart. Keep creating that tension as you slowly transition all the way over to the other side. When your knees land, take a second and relax. Okay. Another important aspect of what we're doing here today is the mind-body connection between the movement and the joint that you're targeting. So as we go through this next round, I want you to really feel what's happening in your hip. Notice that ball and socket moving through that pelvic ball and start to become aware of where the sticking points are. So mind in the hip, begin, create the tension. Press down to the ground, friends. Knee down, ankle down, knee down, ankle down, press. From here, back knee lifts, drive apart. For 4, press the knees apart. For 3, press the knees apart. For 2, press the knees apart. And then keep driving the knees apart. Pull the heels through the ground. All the way, fight for it, fight for it, fight for it. Feel what's happening in the hips as you keep pulling those heels through the ground back towards you. Slowly transition over to the other side. Now there's a lot of ways we can modify and build off that. Let me just give you another example to illuminate how it's not about the particular movement I'm showing you, it's about the principle of understanding how does this joint work, how can I apply tension as I move through its range of motion. So with the hips, there's a lot of different ways we can do this. Here's another one. Meet me in a tabletop position, friends. So we're gonna have our hands under our shoulders, our knees underneath our chest. From here, I want you to take your front knee, whichever one you want, and lift it up and pull it to your armpit. Awesome. From here, I want you to lift it all the way to the sky. And keep pressing up to the sky, noticing if your body wants to lean, try to find that neutral position. You're gonna rotate your heel upwards, and you're gonna almost donkey kick to the ceiling. From there, pull that knee back through to your chest. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Lift the knee up to your armpit, all the way out to the side. Keep driving up to the side as you bring that heel to face up towards the ceiling, almost like a donkey kick, but don't let your spine round. And then pull that knee into your chest 1 more time. Lift the knee up to the side. Keep driving to the sky as you bring that heel all the way high and pull the knee to your chest, change directions. kick the heel up to the sky. Lift out to the side. Keep lifting as you pull all the way to your armpit, and then slowly lower under your chest 2 more times. Kick the heel up to the sky. Drive and lift up high. Fight for that tension as you pull all the way to your armpit and then underneath you. Now notice, if I just do this, it's a completely different experience, right? I need the whole time to be fighting into my end range. That's the only way I'm going to expand my capacity. So there's this concept of the invisible wall. The invisible wall represents the very outer edge of where your range of motion can move to. Your job is to try to press into that wall as much as you can without going through to injury, right? So it's a gentle balance of you learning your body. But what's awesome about this practice is because you're creating the tension, it's a lot more difficult for you to injure yourself. As long as you listen, find those edges, push towards them and not through them, over time slowly, your capacity will expand. Just to balance it out, guys, let's go ahead and switch sides and do that same alternative hip car exercise on the other side. So coming back into that tabletop position. And don't do the loosey-goosey version I was showing you before. Fight for the real reps, okay? Pulling that knee up into your chest. Lift it out to the side all the way high. Keeping that lift, go ahead and kick that heel up to the sky and then pull that knee back to your chest. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Lift to the armpit, lift to the sky. Pull that heel all the way high and then pull knee into your chest. Squeeze it 1 more time. Knee lifts out to the side. Turn that heel up, kick it to the sky, and pull knee into your chest. Let's reverse it. Kick that heel to the sky. Lift out to the side. Keep lifting up as you pull all the way to your armpit, all the way to your armpit, and slowly back underneath your chest. 2 more reps. Kick up to the sky. Lift out to the side, all the way high. Fight for it, drive. Squeeze to your armpit, back under. 1 more rep. Kick up to the sky. Open up high. Drive, 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 all the way to the armpit. Lower back underneath you. Very good work. A million ways to apply these principles. Another valuable thought when it comes to the hips is you can think in terms of the directions that your hips move, right? So you have a lift forward with your hip, you have a lift backwards, you also have this internal external rotation. You can lift to the side and you can turn it out and over, right? So if we were to do the same thing we did on the floor standing, it would look like this. Feel free to try this at home. Opening out, turning out, bringing under, and up. So you can think of lifting back, you can think of lifting forward, you can think of lifting to the side, and you can think of bringing around and behind. If we were to apply the same principles of that exercise we just did on the ground standing, it would just look like this, right? We have a lift of our knee up, just like we did on the floor. We open it wide out to the side. We get that internal rotation as we kick around and behind, fighting for this connection. Don't draw from the spine. Pull the knee forward. If we were to reverse it, kick back, open wide, pull forward, and down. And this is what's going to give you the capacity to be able to start throwing a lot of really cool kicks. Gotta take care of your hips. My favorite way to inspire people to train hips is to remind them that it's really important to be able to get your foot to someone's face. And if you don't keep your hips healthy, you lose that. All right, great job so far, friends. Hope this is making sense. Again, feel free to drop any questions in the chat. We did the toes, we did the ankles, we did the knees, we did the hips. Next up is the spine. It's always important to think of your spine as a priority because it is the central column of your being. There's lots of ways that our spine moves and articulates. It's one of our most versatile joint capacities. But to begin, we're going to keep the same principles that we've been practicing to kind of simplify the equation. We got flexion extension. Instead of internal external rotation, we're going to add a lateral bend and a lateral bend. So starting with the flexion and extension of the spine, it's always good to create space in your joints before you rotate and twist. So doing something like this is an amazing warm-up before you do anything athletic, because anything athletic is going to involve this rotation of the spine, so being able to have that space and capacity is a great prerequisite. So starting with that flexion and extension, all you're going to do is just lift your heart to the sky and try to make a big C shape as you lift your chin, look overhead, tilt your hips back, and then we're going to tuck the chin to the chest, tuck the hips, suck the belly button in, and press those hands forward. So we got one direction, we got the other. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round, tuck the hips, tuck the belly, tuck the chin, reach those hands. 1 more time. Inhale, open wide. Expand that spine, get as much extension. Exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the hips, get as much flexion as you can. Very good work. Okay, now here's where things start to get interesting in this standing variation. In order for us to really target that individual joint of the spine, I'm gonna need you to isolate everything from the hips and below so you don't shift. To do this, we need to create some tension. So in your stance, rip the ground apart. Boom, lock those hips down. Now from here, you're gonna bring your arms to a T. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna reach. So taking your spine one direction, notice if the bottom moves, grow tall through the crown as you come through center, and then reach the other direction. Beautiful, let's do that 2 more times. Inhale tall, reach over, reach over, reach over. Inhale tall, reach over, reach over, reach over. One more, inhale tall, lengthen that spine. Exhale, reach as far as you can without the hips coming into play. Inhale tall, and then reach as far as you can. Beautiful. So just like we did before, keeping the same pattern, we got 2 directions, we're gonna add them together. Try to follow my lead. Inhale, lifts your heart, lifts your chin, get that big extension. From here, you're gonna reach your hands to the right. And then tuck your chin, dome and round, come into that flexion. From here, reach your hand to the left. Keep that rip of the floor. 2 more times. Inhale, lifts the heart, lifts the chin, extend. Exhale, reach to the side. Tuck, round, dome that spine. And then reach over to the other side on your inhale. 1 more. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the chin, open wide. Exhale, reach all the way over. Tuck, round, dome that spine. And then inhale all the way back to the other side. Lift the heart, lift the chin back through center. Let's change directions, guys. Exhale, reach the other direction. Tuck, round, dome that spine. Inhale over to the other side. And then lift that heart, lift that chin. 2 more, breathe with it. Exhale, reach. Tuck, round, dome. Inhale, reach. Lift the heart, open wide. 1 more time. Exhale, reach. Tuck, round, dome. Inhale, reach. Lift the heart, lift the chin. Relax. So you noticed again, we got 2 directions. We added them together and we created that full range of motion. Now there's more than one way to approach many of your joints. So just like this could be the sideways bend, this could also be the sideways bend. So noticing we applied the same principles here. Took 2 directions, added them together, created that full space for our spine to work in. Now what you might have noticed is at first it feels kind of like a square. And over time it starts to feel more like a circle. Usually it's in the corners of that circle that you're gonna find the most gunk to really start to open up and press into. Let me give you another example, kind of going backwards for a second, back into the hips, of how we can take these same principles and apply them in multiple different ways. So before we were talking about this as the lift of our hips, but we can also think about the hips in terms of our pelvic tilt, right? So see if you can articulate this motion. Tilting your hips backwards, tucking your hips under. Try that 2 more times. See if you can imagine your hips like a bowl, pour the water out of the bowl, and then tuck your hips to tuck that. 1 more time. Pour that water out of that bowl and tuck your hips underneath you. So now we've just defined another forward and back, right? So again, the principle is more important than the particular pattern. I hope this is making sense. Comments or questions in the chat. Let's get another side to side. Whereas before the internal-external rotation was our side-to-side direction, this time we're gonna make the lateral shift of our hips, that side to side. So all you're gonna do is hands on your hips and you're gonna get real sassy with it. So 1 knee bends, 1 knee straightens, you're gonna shift your hips 1 direction. And if you're having trouble, just like more attitude, humph, add a little sassy girlfriend into the mix. And then switch, other knee, other side bends, taking that lateral shift side to side 2 more times. Learning how to articulate your hips in a nice little sassy side to side. Okay, guess what? We just got 2 new directions. What happens if we add them together? We get a whole different joint articulation for our hips. Let's try it. Tucking your hips underneath you, boom. Tilting your hips to one side, boom. Tilting your hips backwards and behind, and then tilting over to the other side. Tuck those hips underneath you, boom. Tilt to one side, boom. Lift your tailbone up and behind, tilt to the other side, and tuck. Now on this one, I need you to really press into those corners, okay? So you're gonna drive into the hip joint, tilt the hips back, and as you tilt, really press into that hip socket. Oh, you might find some demons in there, friends. And then tilt it to the other side, press in that hip socket, and then tuck that hip under. It may seem like a silly movement, but your hips are one of the most important joints in your body. It is where your spine rests in. A lot of you out there with back problems, it's originating from the lack of capacity in your hips as you move. So take the time to do these silly articulations, because they're what's going to really help you in the long run. All right, let's go the other direction. Tuck your hips underneath you. Boom. Tilt to the other side. Now really press back into that hip as you lift your tailbone up and behind, and circle to that hip tilt on you. Beautiful, and tuck under. 2 more like that. Tilt the hips, circle behind, press into that circle, all the way to the other side, tuck up and under. 1 more time. Tilt the hip, lift behind, circle, and tuck. So just like we did with the spine, so just like we did with the hips, we use the same principles in 2 different contexts. We did with the spine, flexion, extension, side to side, add it together for the circle. We could also do rotation, right? So the spine also has the ability to open up into rotation. Let's play around with this, and just like in the beginning, I need you to isolate your hips. So if you're gonna rotate your spine, try not to let the hips come into play. We wanna individuate the joint that we're targeting. So again, locking it down by ripping the ground, maybe even you bring that opposite hand to the hip to keep it forward. You're gonna take one hand, you're just gonna reach and open behind you, getting that full rotation. And then switch, hand to the other hip, reach and open behind you. Let your eyes follow your hand. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale as you reach and open behind, getting that good rotation of the spine. Coming back through center. Inhale, reach behind. Keep bumping that hip forward. 1 more time each. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward. Beautiful. All right, so we've opened up the flexion, extension, lateral bend, and rotation. Last one for our spine, let's just individuate that spinal roll. So trying to vertebrae by vertebrae, roll your head all the way to the floor. Start, and this is kind of hard with the necklace I got on, but try your best to do what I say, not what I'm doing. Chin to your chest. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, allow the weight of your head to start to pull your spine all the way down to your toes. Notice if at any point along you find that your spine is kind of stuck, where certain joints won't move by themselves and they kind of move together. This is a common thing that happens. People sometimes have certain vertebrae of their spine that lack the ability to articulate individually. Keep letting the weight of your head pull you all the way down to your toes. It's really good information to start to become aware of. Keep a little bend of your knees. Just let your head pull you forward. 1 more breath. And then we're going to reverse that, starting with the tuck of our hips, keeping a heavy head, sucking your belly button in to slowly stack your spine like Lincoln logs. 1 vertebrae on top of the other. Beautiful. That's a great movement to begin to add load to. This is known in the bodybuilding world as a Jefferson curl. If you take like some dumbbells and you do some weighted spinal articulation like that, it'll do wonders for starting to strengthen the capacity of those individual vertebrae. Okay, next up, we did the toes, ankles, knees, hips, spine. Hopefully these principles are starting to make sense. Next up, let's get into the neck. And just to give another example of how there's more than one way to do this, we could make our forward and back with our neck, our lift of our chin up, and our tuck of our chin down, right? Let's try that. Lift your chin all the way up to the sky, pull your jaw in, and then tuck your chin to your chest. 1 more time. Lift your chin up to the sky, and tuck your chin to your chest. And we could also make our side to side, just the drop of one ear to the shoulder. Feel that stretch all the way through that arm line, and switch. Other ear, other shoulder. Oh yeah. Every time you come through center, grow tall through your spine, get some length. Let's do that 2 more times. Drop that ear to that shoulder. Lift up through the crown. Drop that ear over to that shoulder. Lift up through the crown. 1 more each. Drop the ear over to that shoulder. Feel that nice stretch. Breathe into it. Lift up to the sky. Drop that ear over to that other shoulder. Good. So we got a forward and back. We got a side to side. I'm sure you guys have probably tried this one before. It's just a simple neck circle. We'll add them together. Dropping your chin to your chest, rolling your left ear to your left shoulder, lifting your chin slowly up to the sky, inhale. On your exhale, drop that right ear to your right shoulder and let that chin fall heavy to your chest. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, left ear, left shoulder. Lift that chin up to the sky. Exhale, right ear down to that right shoulder and drop that chin heavy to your chest. 1 more time. Inhale, left ear, left shoulder. Lift that chin up to the sky. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. And chin drops heavy to your chest. Change directions. Inhale, right ear, right shoulder. Lift that chin up to the sky. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Let that chin drop heavy to your chest. 2 more times. Inhale, right ear all the way to the right shoulder. Stretch to the left. Big breath, lift that chin to the sky. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. And let that chin drop heavy to your chest. The last one. Inhale, right ear, right shoulder. Chin up to the sky. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Chin slowly drops to your chest. Good stuff. Okay, so again, how can we apply 2 different directionalities, target the same joint in a way that uses the same principle in a different way? Here's an example. What if instead of making this our forward and back, we made this motion our forward and back? I call this the chicken neck and the double chin, guys. So you're gonna, without moving the rest of your body, try to isolate just the neck. Stick your chin forward. And then pull your chin back as much as you can into a double chin. Let's try that 2 more times. Chin goes forward. Chin pulls it back, double chin. 1 more time. Chin goes forward all the way. Try to press your head forward. And pull that chin back, grow tall. Double chin as much as you can. Okay, we got a new forward and back. What about side to side? Now this one can be a little bit challenging. If you've never practiced it before, it can be difficult. Some people are just naturally freakishly good, but I'll tell you what, if you get good at this one, it's not just healthy for your neck, but it also looks really cool on the dance floor. I call this the quagmire, right? Check it out. So pointing your fingers towards your ear, keeping the head on the same level. All you're gonna do is slightly shift your ear towards your finger and slightly take it to the other side. Yes, the giggity giggity right there. Take it to the right, take it to the left, right, left, right, left. Cool. So we just got another forward and back. We just got another side to side. Let's see what happens when we add them together, guys. So chicken neck forward. Take the ear to the right. Double chin back. Take the ear to the left. 2 more times. Chicken neck forward. Take the ear to the right. Double chin back. Ear to the left. 1 more time. Chicken neck forward. Ear right. Chin back. Ear left. Chicken neck forward. Change directions. Left. Back. Right. Forward. Left. Back, right, forward, left, back, right, forward. So just another example of how the principle matters more than the particular pattern we're applying. Pressing into all of those directions, expanding your capacity, and also expanding your neurological control over those joints. If you've never done this before and it's hard, expect that. But all of this is accessible with practice. Amazing work so far. We're almost through the full body. Take a moment and just feel how good your body feels. You've just flushed it with synovial fluid. You've given it the gift of moving each joint through its full capacity. You should be doing this stuff every day. Every joint, every day. Functional range conditioning people have this saying. How often should you do this? All day, every day. Quit your job, drop out of school, move to the jungle, and just do what they call CARs, controlled articulated rotations, which is this practice, right? But seriously though, like every day, if you do this, you will not have the aches and pains of your joints that a lot of people feel is just inevitable as they age. Okay, next up, we got our shoulder and our scaps. Now I'm gonna individuate the 2. The scap is the big bone in the back of your back, in the back of your back. It's kind of like your kneecap, it's floating in place there. So it moves very different than the actual shoulder sockets. I want to distinguish those 2 because oftentimes they get kind of confused. How do we move our scaps? Begin with bringing your hands to your pockets. From here, we're going to pull our shoulders forward and then lift our shoulders back. That's our forward and back, right? Shoulders forward, shoulders back. What's our other direction? We can lift our shoulders up and we can punch our shoulders down. Shoulders lift up. Shoulders punch down. All right, we got 2 directions. You guys know what we're doing now. Let's add them together, make that full controlled articulated rotation, that full CAR as we call them, that's the acronym. Shoulders go forward, Shoulders lift up. Shoulders pull back. Shoulders press down, punch to the ground. 2 more times. Shoulders go forward. Shoulders lift up. Shoulders pull back and punch and press down to the floor. 1 more good one. Shoulders forward. Lift them up. Pull them back. Press and punch. Change directions, friends. Shoulders go back. Shoulders lift up. Shoulders go forward. Shoulders punch down. 2 more. Shoulders go back. Shoulders lift up. Shoulders go forward. Punch them down. Smooth out those corners. Shoulders back. Up. Forward. Punch. Beautiful stuff. Okay. Now, the actual shoulder moves very different than the scap. What is going to define the tension of your shoulder is going to be this internal and external rotation of your thumb. Take a second, feel that. When you turn your thumb inward, your shoulder pronates and comes forward out of its socket. When you turn your thumb outwards, your shoulder retracts and screws in. It's like a screw. You can unscrew your shoulder and then screw your shoulder back in. So how do we move through the full range of our shoulder? This one's gonna be a little quick, but let's go over it. So to start, I need you to really isolate every part of your body besides that shoulder. So grip in the ground, you can bring your free hand, we're gonna do 1 at a time to your belly. You're gonna take that shoulder that you're targeting, you're gonna turn the thumb all the way out. From there, with as much rotation as you can, you're gonna slowly bring it across your body. All the way up, turning that thumb out, turning that thumb out, turning that thumb out, all the way until you pass your face. And once you pass your face, you're gonna bring it up next to your ear. With it next to your ear, you're now going to change the rotation of your thumb. Turn your thumb in. Keeping that thumb in, you're going to press straight back into that invisible wall. Once you reach the edge of that invisible wall, start to internally rotate a little more. Twist, twist, twist. Twist, twist, twist. All the way around until you find your pocket. And then we're going to reverse that. Keep that external rotation. Press the thumb back. Find that first invisible wall. Drive into it. As you press into that wall, you'll slowly unscrew your shoulder and fight for that invisible wall. Press, press, bring it all the way up, overhead, bicep next to your ear. Turn the thumb out and then bring it across your face. Keep turning the thumb across your body all the way back to that starting position. Again, fighting for that tension, that turn of the thumb the whole time. Relax. That's 1 rep, guys. Feel the difference between one shoulder and the other. Isn't it crazy that your body is like this all day and you just never really notice because it's all relative? Like if I left you and we didn't do the other side, wouldn't it drive you mad how imbalanced you feel? Again, that's 1 rep. How crazy is that? Again, let's balance out the other side and really focus on generating that tension. So good stance, other hand comes to your belly, lock it in. Take that hand you haven't done, externally rotate that thumb as much as you can. With that external rotation, we're gonna slowly bring it across our body. Turn the thumb, turn the thumb, turn the thumb, all the way, all the way, all the way, until you come across your face. Once you come across your face, you're just gonna slowly bring it bicep up to your ear. When you get to this position, switch your rotation. Turn your thumb the other direction and then drive your pinky straight back. Find that invisible wall, turn the thumb, press into it. And then let the rotation get you that next little inch backwards. Keep fighting into that wall as you turn. Don't make it easy, fight for it. Fight into that wall as you turn. Turn, turn, press, turn, turn, press all the way until the back of your palm meets your pocket. Good, reverse that. Drive the thumb back, press. Find that first invisible wall, press into it. And then slowly you can start to externally rotate. Don't make it easy, fight, fight, drive into that invisible wall. Press, press, press as you unwind. Press, press, press as you unwind. All the way until your bicep gets to your ear, and then turn the thumb the other direction. Get that external rotation and bring it across your body. Turn the thumb, bring it down, turn the thumb, bring it down, turn the thumb, bring it down, all the way to your pocket. That's 1 controlled articulated rotation of your shoulder joint. Now, there's other ways we could do this to make this a little faster, so try this. Take your thumbs, turn them all the way out, and together we'll bring both hands up overhead. Now at the top, you're gonna turn your thumbs in, get as much twist as you can as you swim those hands all the way around and behind, and then you're gonna drive your thumbs up to the back of your head. Extend to 45 degrees, turn the thumbs out, lift up, turn, turn, turn those thumbs, turn the thumbs forward and swim. Forward and swim. Forward and swim. Same principles applied in a different way. Principles over patterns. Okay. So, what haven't we done so far? Next up, we got the elbows. A very important key is to understand that our joints are based on our evolution. And I mean by that our wrists are very similar to our ankles, our elbows are very similar to our knees, and our shoulder is kind of similar to our hips, right? A little different, but same. So same principle you applied for your knee, same directionalities. We have that flexion and extension. Just like we use the toe to create the tension, we're gonna use the thumb to get that internal and external tension rotation. Let's try both sides together, guys. We're almost done here. Let's finish off strong. Elbows pinned to your sides. Take your thumbs, make a fist, turn the thumbs out as much as you can, squeeze it in, nice bicep curl. Keeping that turn out of your thumbs as much as possible, slowly extend. Turn those thumbs, extend, turn those thumbs, extend, turn those thumbs, extend. At the end of your range, turn your thumbs in. As much internal rotation as you can, pull your fists all the way back to your shoulders. 2 more times, thumbs turn out. Extend, 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 extend. Thumbs turn in, rotate and pull all the way back. Pull all the way back. 1 more time. Thumbs turn out, fight for it. Turn those thumbs as you extend. Thumbs turn in, as much rotation as you can. Pull it back, no rest. We're gonna do the other direction. Keep the thumbs turned in, extend. Turn the thumbs out, turn, pull back. Last 2 reps, then we'll rest. Fight for it, guys. Thumbs turn in, rotate. Extend as you rotate, extend as you rotate, extend as you rotate. Thumbs turn out and pull, squeeze back. Last best rep, turn in, turn, press, turn, press, turn, press, turn, press, turn out. Pull, squeeze, pull, squeeze, pull, squeeze. Relax. So if you're somebody who struggles with tennis elbow, like that right there is the solution, right? Moving through that range of motion through that elbow joint will solve this problem significantly. If you find that you need a little bit more, you might also need to release it. You could do something like voodoo floss to apply pressure, but that is a big part of what fixes issues in the elbows right there. Very simply, you just learned it in 10 seconds. If any of you guys are struggling with particular issues, feel free to reach out to me directly and I can guide you a little bit more on what specifically needs to be applied. Okay. But in general, these principles solve a lot of problems when you do it right. Almost done. We got the wrists. This one, if done properly, should be a full body exercise. So, just like with the ankles, take your fists, press them forward. We're gonna make a nice fist. We're gonna drive our knuckles down and our wrists up. That's one direction, switch. Knuckles back to your face, pull them back as much as you can, feel those forearm fire. Knuckles down, wrists up, press, 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 press. And then knuckles back, wrists down, press, 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 press. One more time. Knuckles down, wrist drive, press, 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 press. And knuckles back, lift those knuckles to your face. All right, that's one direction. Come back to neutral. We're gonna take our knuckles out and bring our wrists in. And then switch, knuckles go in, wrists go out. 2 more of those. Wrists go in, knuckles go out. Knuckles go in, wrist goes out. 1 more time. Wrist goes in, knuckles go out. Knuckles go in, wrists go out. Take a second, reset it. We're gonna add those directions together. You guys get the deal by now. Let's rock it. Nice fist, punch it forward, boom. Knuckles go down, wrist goes up, boom. Knuckles go out, wrist goes in, boom. Knuckles go up, wrist goes down, boom. Knuckles go in, wrist goes out. 1 more time. Knuckles down, wrists up, knuckles out, wrists in, knuckles up, wrists down, knuckles in, wrists out. Change directions. Knuckles up, knuckles out, knuckles down, knuckles in. Fight for it. Knuckles up, knuckles out, knuckles down, knuckles in. If you're doing that right again, that should be like near failure, just moving your wrist. This is the power of creating your own tension. If you do this right, you don't need heavy weight to get an amazing workout, guys, and it's actually more beneficial in the long term for your body. There's a saying in hero training, we make lightweight heavy so that heavyweight feels light. Meditate on that. I'm gonna show you one more variation for the wrists, a little bit more fun. We're gonna do like a Mr. Miyagi painting the fence variation. So take your wrists, drive the knuckles to the ground, and we're gonna paint the fence up. Drive those knuckles down, and switch. Wrists back, knuckles to your face. Whew, let's add in the directions. We'll go wrists out, knuckles in, nice and wide. Wrists up, knuckles down, press it. Wrists in, knuckles out, bring it together. Wrists down, knuckles up, one more that direction. Wrists out, knuckles in, fight, 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 fight. Wrists up, knuckles down, drive, 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 drive. Wrists in, knuckles out. Wrists down, knuckles up. Change directions. Last 2. Wrists in, knuckles out. Wrists up, knuckles down. Wrists out, knuckles in. Wrists down, knuckles up. One more. Wrists in, knuckles out. Wrists up, knuckles down. Wrists out, knuckles in. Wrists down, knuckles up. Relax. Y'all, we have almost finished every joint in our body. Just like we started with the toes, we're gonna end with the fingers. This is one of my all-time favorites. Go ahead and make a nice wide spread of your fingers in your palms. Starting with just your thumb, we're gonna squeeze your thumb in. And then taking just your pointer finger, squeeze your pointer finger on top. Next, your middle finger squeezes, then your ring finger, and last your pinky. Get a nice squeeze at the end and unwind from there. Pinky first, ring second, middle third, pointer, thumb, spread them wide. Let's go the other direction, starting with the pinky in, squeeze it, see how far you can go, just the pinky. Ring finger, middle finger, pointer finger, thumb. Let's go a little faster. Unwind with the thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Wind in with the thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. One more time. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Change directions. Wind in with the pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Unwind with the thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. All right, check this out. Let's go a little faster. Thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. It's almost like you're making an A-OK sign. You see that? Now unwind. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Wind in. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. It's almost like you're holding an ice cream cone. You see that? Unwind. Thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. So a little bit faster. Thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. Okay. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Ice cream cone. Thumb, pointer, middle, ring, pinky. And you go a little faster. It's okay to have some ice cream. It's okay to have some. That's an old joke from Shane Hines over at On It. I can't take credit for that one. Dad jokes are a very important part of your fitness education here, friends. All right, so we've gone through our whole body. Hopefully these principles are starting to make sense. We applied them in various different contexts. Again, the ideas behind the movements matter much more than the movements. This can be applied in infinite sorts of ways. If you guys have any specific questions, I am always here to support you. I just want to emphasize again how honored I am to be contributing and sharing my keys with you guys. This Anime Shreds community is by far the most resonant community I've ever been a part of. So I really do feel a sincere kinship with everyone within this, we're calling it village, it's a tribe, right? And I'm just want to be of service to you guys. I want the last 15 years of training that I put into learning these keys, learning these modalities, studying with masters to be of service to y'all so we can level up all the ninjas in the crew and then go forth and change the world, because I really believe this is going to be the greatest online community on the planet, and each and every one of you is a part of it. So beyond honored again. My name is Mateo Flows. Feel free to connect with me directly, and I'm here to support. See you guys soon.